Hello everyone, Ashleen here from Amelia Makes, and today I'm really excited to share with you some amazing spooky looking Halloween crochet patterns that I'm pretty sure you're going to be really inspired to make after this video. Now I do have to say that not all of them are spooky, and I did add a few cute ones in there because I just couldn't resist, and I'm pretty sure you're going to thank me for that after I go through the list. Now the way I'm going to be going through this list is I'm going to be sharing with you 10 crochet Halloween patterns, but I'm going to be segmenting them into different categories. So just to make it easier for you, if you're not interested in a category, you can just skip right through that as well. But I'm pretty sure you're going to like all of them because they're really creative, they're fun to make, actually a mix of beginner level patterns to intermediate level patterns. And if you also like amigurumis, then you're definitely gonna like the category of amigurumi that we have in here. So before we get started, I'm just going to be walking you through the different categories that we have, and I'll tell you which one we're going to be starting with, and then we can just get right into it. So the first category that I'm going to start with are practical Halloween patterns. So I specifically chose a category like this because I'm sure many of us during Halloween time, we do want something that's going to be not just decorative, but also practical, or we might want a combination of both. So I really wanted to make sure to include this category in there. The second category, as I mentioned, is amigurumis. So these are going to be really spooky looking and some cute looking amigurumis that you're going to love. You'll be able to have access to the free pattern for you to start crochet. And the third category is going to be crochet Halloween applique that you can have as decoration around the house, and are actually pretty easy to make. These are usually made in bulk, but we're going to be going through that as well. Okay, so now we're going to get started for the first category. The first one on this list are these practical Halloween candy bags. Now this is a really creative way to go trick-or-treating, especially if you're just used to maybe holding a pillowcase or just like a normal plastic bag. This really does make it more exciting when it comes to Halloween time. The foundation of these bags are pretty much all the same, but if you just use a different color yarn, you can see how it just drastically changes the look and feel of the bag. And what I love about it is that they all have the same foundation when it comes to crocheting the bag. And then you can actually create any design that you want or just add patches onto the bag. But as you can see here, there are specific designs that you can follow, and it just depends on what you feel like, but all of them, in my opinion, are really adorable. Now, in terms of skill level for this bag, I would say that it is an intermediate level, even though the main stitch being used is a double crochet stitch. Okay, moving on to number 2, which is a spooky Halloween hat. Now this is another practical pattern that you can crochet during Halloween, and it's also very practical as well. And actually, I wouldn't just say it's for Halloween. You can also during the month of October, like if you just want to go out with your friends, you're wearing a black dress or you're wearing a skirt. This is actually something that's really cute to wear, and it gives us some kind of edgy look to it. But you can definitely also wear this for Halloween. Whether you want to wear like a spooky black dress and have like white paint on your face and then wear this hat, it will definitely make it look more spooky. But there's just so many other ways that you can do it. This is just basically top of mind of what I was thinking. In terms of skill level, it may look intimidating as a beginner to crochet a spiral hat because you will need to know how to crochet 2 colors back and forth. So if that's something that you haven't really done, then this is more for someone who has been crocheting for a while. Okay, number 3 is a spooky Handsweb that you can see right here. Now these spooky looking hand spider web mitts that you can call them, actually pretty quick and easy to make and perfect as an add-on to a Halloween costume. So let's say for example you're wearing the night before Christmas costume, these mitts will definitely be the perfect match for that as well. Or if you're a witch or you have a gothic look costume on, then definitely these mitts will really work as well. And as a beginner, give this pattern a try because it's mainly done in chain stitches, and the upper part of it around the wrist area is crocheted in double crochet stitch, so you can definitely get the hang of it. Since we're talking about spider webs, this next one, which is a Halloween collar, does pretty much look like a spider web as well, and look how it really transformed a costume. I actually really like how it stands out from the costume, and it really gives it that extra horror-y, creepy, spooky, I would say, look to it. So even if you're wearing just a simple dress and you put white paint on your face and maybe you wear like black lipstick and then you wear this Halloween collar, it will really make your costume stand out. Okay, so now on to our second category, which is crocheting amigurumi patterns for Halloween. The first one on the list is a scary doll pattern. Now, there wasn't too much information when it comes to this doll pattern because I did find it on Etsy, but I really do admire how well done it was crocheted, and it looks so pretty yet creepy, and it really definitely works for Halloween. Now, if you're into crocheting amigurumi patterns but you still haven't done it yet and this is going to be your first one, then I wouldn't recommend this particular project because it has a lot of contrast and detail to it. But the next one that I'm about to show you is actually really good for beginners, and it's a lot easier to crochet. Plus, it also has a video tutorial that you can actually follow along to. So let's actually move on to that one, which is number 6, the Crochet Bat, as you can see right here. And as I mentioned, not all of these patterns are spooky looking. Definitely this bat is not. But I really wanted to add it because if you are someone that really wants to start with amigurumis for Halloween, what better to do than a bat? What's also nice about it is that you can make it in different colors. You can make many of them. It can also be made in different sizes. Another thing about this pattern, it does use a chunky yarn, and that's one of the reasons why it does look adorable as well. So I do have a link to the video tutorial below that you can check out. Okay, number 7 is crocheting a mummy. If you already know and practice the basic stitches, then this pattern should be your first amigurumi project. Of course, the bat as well is a great one, but this should also be on top of the list. So first, it's crocheted in rows and not rounds, which does make it easier, especially if you're a beginner, because if you will want to crochet in rounds, you will probably have to learn how to crochet magic circle and also just get into the practice of crocheting in rounds. So that's a great thing. And in terms of the way it looks, at a glance, it can actually look really cute. But if you add spider webs next to it and a spider, maybe like a black background, it can really come out as a very spooky looking pattern. So that's the reason why I really like this pattern. Now on to our last category, which is Halloween applique that you can have around your house as decoration. So number 8, these are really spooky crochet eyes. Now, I do have to say this is probably the spookiest pattern that I do have here in this list, especially when it comes to the veins that's kind of coming out of the back of the eye. So that really does transform it into something that's a bit more creepy looking. Is that if you're having a Halloween party and you have drinks on the bar, you can actually display these eyes around the drinks and they'll really make it look a lot more spookier. You can have them displayed around the house. It can even be added to a Halloween costume. Now, I don't know exactly what way that could be done. I'm sure if you have a really creepy looking Halloween costume, these eyes will really make it even creepier looking. In terms of skill level, I would say that this is an intermediate level pattern because you'll need to know how to create the magic circle, and you'll also be working in rounds, and you also need to know how to do increases and decreases. So that must be a handful for a beginner. So that's why I would recommend it for someone who has been crocheting for a few months and you've completed a few projects, and you'll be a lot more confident to do this. Okay, moving on to number 9, which is a Crochet Vampire. And this little Crochet Vampire is actually really great to make in bulk because of how small it is. And to be frank, you know, vampires do tend to look scary, but this one is actually really cute looking. So it's maybe not something that you would want to have around as spooky decoration, but it's definitely something you'd want to have around if you're having a kid's Halloween party. This will be a really great decoration to have. Other ways of how this can be used. So, you know, let's say everyone around the block is giving out candies for Halloween to the kids. You can actually make this little Crochet Vampire in bulk and you can hand that out to the kids. I'm sure they would appreciate that as well. Okay, last but not least is number 10, which is a Crochet Spider. Now, I couldn't end with a list of Halloween patterns and not include spider pattern because what's Halloween without spiders? I did want to select a pattern that is actually quick and easy to make, so crocheting a spider that's not going to take you too long to make, and that also has a video tutorial that you can follow along with. Because especially when it comes to crocheting spiders for Halloween, we do want to make more than one. So I would say you'd want to make at least 3, 5, 10, just depending on, you know, how big or how much decoration you want to have around the house. This specific pattern, since it's actually great for beginners and it's pretty quick to make, Spider can definitely be completed within an hour or less. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed these patterns. I hope you had some that you already have on top of mind that you want to start crocheting. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we're actually posting videos every week, whether it's stitch tutorials, different stitch techniques that we found, free patterns that we have on our blog, or just general patterns that we're finding on the web that are really exciting and we want to share with you. Thanks again.